Atlanta News First Plus starts now with a First Alert Weather Day.
I'm First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez, and we are under a First Alert weather day as very heavy rain, gusty winds, and frequent lightning continues to move through the metro area. We are currently under a ground stop at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International. That is through 2:30 p.m. But again, that is fluid, and it really depends on when it is safe to resume flights coming in and out. But for now, there is a ground stop at Hartsfield-Jackson. We are seeing widespread rain right along I-85. That rain heavy at times, and we are seeing wind gusts of 40 to up to 50 miles an hour in some of the strongest storms. Right now, very heavy rain moving through the heart of Atlanta, so Fulton County, DeKalb County, from Stone Mountain to Decatur to Atlanta. The darker the colors you're seeing here, that is very heavy rain, especially in the Stone Mountain area, just south of 78, moving towards the Redan area, Lithonia, seeing some very heavy downpours there. As we take you a little further south, more heavy rain. None of these are severe, but again, that could change at any moment. If anything becomes severe, we'll let you know right away. Very heavy rain moving through portions of Troup County, now moving into Meriwether County, right along I-85. We're going to see a batch of very heavy rain. This is blinding rain that's going to move over I-85, has the potential producing 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts. Can't rule out very small hail in some of the strongest storms as well. And then as we take you a little further east here, moving through Monroe, seeing some heavy rain, Rockdale County, right along I-20, heading towards the Covington area. We have some very heavy rain. And then as we take you to Clark County, Oconee County, very heavy rain near the University of Georgia, the Commerce area through Banks County, seeing some heavy rain as well. Right now, we are not seeing any rotation, but it is something we're watching very closely because tornadoes will be possible in this kind of environment. We do have some spin in the atmosphere, so we are watching for any kinds of rotation. Right now, we've got the wind velocity on First Alert radar. This is the tool we use to look for areas of rotation. And I'm looking now, scanning from Troup County through Coweta County into the metro. Not seeing any rotation right now as we take you to the northeast. Yes, we have some lightning. We have some heavy rain and gusty winds, but we are not seeing any rotation right now. But again, that could change over the next hour or two. We're going to track the main line. So the individual storms themselves are moving east at about 40 miles an hour, but the actual line is sagging to the southeast. So the line itself to the southeast, but individual storms east at 40, heading towards north. High Shoals at 204. Going to see some storms in the Hampton area. And some of these areas, keep in mind, are already seeing some storms. So it doesn't mean that it's dry right now. It's just when those stronger storms are approaching. Hampton at 204, Brooks at 205, McDonough at 205, Oxford at 207, Carlton at 208, Arnoldsville at 213, Covington at 214, then the Porterdale about 215, Elberton around 220. So again, line of storms moving to the southeast across the metro area. We are seeing lots and lots of rain. Have severe threats. So this is a good indicator, shows us where we could see some hail. Where you see some of those light purples, that is indicating a little bit of small hail possible on radar. Nothing overwhelming, nothing large, certainly well below severe limits, but I would not be surprised if we had some pea-sized hail in some of the strongest storms as well. This is all because of a cold front that's pushing through the area. So the front right now pushing through North Georgia. This is what's bringing us that threat of severe weather. That is why today is a First Alert weather day. As this continues to push through, it is going to bring some drier, cooler air. It's actually going to feel really amazing once this front pushes through. So although it is stormy right now, and I don't recommend being out and about this afternoon, if you do have Friday dinner plans, as long as they're after about 4:35 p.m., you will be in the clear. Anything after that, the severe weather threat will be completely over. In fact, we're going to see decreasing clouds, and it's going to be a lovely night tonight, even better as we head into tomorrow. A really nice weekend ahead. First Alert radar right now, still seeing that heavy rain, again, pushing through the Atlanta metro area. I do want to point out, if you are on the backside of this rain that's pushing through metro Atlanta, you are now in the clear. So if you are in Floyd County, if you are in Polk County, if you're in Haralson County, Carroll County, your threat of severe weather now over, taking you into portions of Paulding County, Bartow County, Cherokee County, Forsyth County, Dawson, Lumpkin County, as we take you into Gordon County, Fannin, Gilmer County, Hall County. If I named your county, you are now in the clear from the threat of severe weather. That front has pushed through, that leading edge has pushed through, and I'm not expecting any additional severe storms or severe storms for your area. Where we do have that threat of severe weather right now, it's really right along and to the southeast of I-85. That is where we have the threat of severe storms, and we will be watching very closely. That is why we are under a severe thunderstorm watch. I want to switch to Max 1 here because I want to show you who is included in that severe thunderstorm watch. And it is going to be areas, again, along and southeast of I-85. Some of these counties will be removed from this watch shortly. Again, now that that severe weather threat has come to an end across places like Paulding County, much of Cobb County, Forsyth County, Hall County. As the storms continue to move to the south and east, that threat will be removed. But for right now, we are under a severe thunderstorm watch. This is until 8 p.m., but that's because it does include parts of middle Georgia that will be stormier later, or will be stormy later, I should say. So just because it ends at 8 p.m. doesn't mean our threat is through 8 p.m. I do expect this threat of severe storms to be over between 4 and 5 p.m., 5 at the absolute latest, but I do think it will be even before that. We will be watching for possible tornadoes. This is a look at the tornado risk. This is any given spot in the area of green. So if you pick a spot, let's say Atlanta, there is a 2% risk. So areas in green, 2% risk of a tornado within a 25-mile radius of any given spot. So you pick a spot wherever you live, basically a 2% risk within a 25-mile radius. That is a relatively low risk, but it's not zero. So yesterday we had a very low risk, and you saw what happened in Henry County with that EF2 tornado, at least an EF2 tornado. That's what the National Weather Service is estimating right now. That official report should come out later tonight. But we were under a almost zero tornado risk yesterday. So it is important to note that although this is a low risk of a tornado, certainly you can't let your guard down, and 2% is higher than I'd like to see. Obviously, zero is where we want to be. But for the rest of this afternoon, we do have a 2% risk of a tornado. Best way to receive those warnings if a tornado warning is issued is to download the free Atlanta News First Alert Weather app. This is like a weather radio, but in your pocket, that travels with you and knows exactly where you're located. It is the best tool. Even on a nice day, you're going to get that hour-by-hour forecast for your location. You can see the current radar and the future radar. So if you're out and about and you're wanting to see what's heading our way or how long the storms will last, you can actually move forward in time on our First Alert Radar app. But the other reason this is so important, if a tornado warning is issued, it can happen very quickly, like what we saw yesterday in Henry County. You will get an alert directly to your cell phone. It will alert you, and you know as soon as you are under a tornado warning, you will need to get to your safe spot. So best thing to have in your pocket, the First Alert Weather app. If you don't have it yet, make sure you download it. You will need it through the next hour or two. Here's a look at where you need to go. So you have a way to receive your warnings now. Let's say you are out and about or home and you get a tornado warning. Tornado warning means you need to get to your safe spot immediately. And this is where you need to go. So this is just a generic example of a home. Deck, obviously bad. Anything in red is bad. Kitchen in this particular situation or this particular layout, living room, kitchen, an exterior wall, bedroom, a garage, those are not places you want to be. The key is you want to be on the lowest level of your home. So if you have a basement is the perfect place to be. If you don't have a basement, a lot of us don't, then you want to be in an interior room away from any windows. So stairwell, hallway, closet, an interior bathroom, that's where you want to go. If you live in an apartment complex and you have an interior stairwell, think of those inside ones that are in cement. Those are the kind of stairwells you want to be in, not an outside facing stairwell that's exposed to the elements. So interior room away from any windows, lowest level of your home. So basement would be ideal if possible. That is where you want to go during a tornado warning. During a watch, it just means you need to be watching for possible severe weather. During a warning, it means severe weather is happening and you need to take precautions immediately. Tornado is just one of the threats we'll be watching for, but we do have a higher risk of strong damaging winds. Areas in yellow, that is a 15% risk. And again, it's the same way we did it with the tornado risk, and that is within a 25-mile radius of any given spot. So the tornado risk was 2%. The damaging wind risk is 15%. So just to put things in perspective, how much higher that risk of damaging winds is compared to the risk of a tornado. So about a 15% chance of damaging winds. And again, areas north and west of I-85, you're pretty much in the clear now, but areas along and southeast of I-85 will be watching for that 15% risk. And notice to our east, as we head just outside of our viewing area, there's a 30% risk of damaging winds. So basically, as this front's pushing through and it moves south and east of us, that is where we have the most instability, and that's where we have the highest risk of severe storms, including strong damaging winds. Can't rule out some small hail. The hail risk is a little lower, about a 5% risk of hail. That is areas in brown. And again, it's within a 25-mile radius of any given spot, but there is about a 5% risk of large hail as we head through the afternoon as well. Taking you hour by hour, storms right now right along in southeast of I-85. By 3 p.m., they're going to continue to move to the south and east, still under the threat of severe weather, possible tornadoes at 3 p.m. As we take you to 4 p.m., it'll be in far southeastern portions of our viewing area. By 5 o'clock, the risk of severe weather will be over and done with. Again, if you are in far southern Jasper, Putnam County, you'll be right on the cusp there, but I'm fairly confident by 5 o'clock for almost all of us, that threat of severe weather, the threat of tornadoes, the threat of strong damaging winds, the threat of heavy rain and lightning, and the threat of hail will be over. It is Friday. I know a lot of you have plans. A lot of kids finish school this week, and you just want to relax and celebrate, especially after all the rain and all the severe weather we've had this week. At 5 o'clock and anything thereafter, the coast will be clear. So improving weather, great conditions for this evening. That first alert weather day will be over at 5 o'clock, and then waking up Saturday, we have really nice weather for the start of your Saturday. Here's a look at first alert radar right now. And again, very heavy downpours continue to push across our area. Areas now north and west of I-85, you are in the clear from the threat of severe weather. We're still watching areas south and east of I-85 for possible severe storms. Some of the heaviest downpours right now moving through Clark and Oconee County. Very heavy rain, lightning, perhaps the possibility of 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts. Moving through DeKalb County, through Gwinnett County, some very heavy downpours there. And as we take you south and west through Troop, Meriwether, some very heavy rain over that area as well. We are seeing a good bit of lightning, especially in northeastern portions of our viewing area. Really heavy rain. Lots of lightning, again, some strong gusty winds. We've had some reports of some trees down, not trees, I should say, some limbs down. So certainly you may notice a little bit of limb damage over the area, but we haven't had any significant reports. In fact, I'm just going to walk off to make sure we're not getting any reports because we're in constant communication. Nope, no reports with the National Weather Service, and I'm just seeing if they have anything, but it looks like they do not have anything. So this is really good news that we are this unstable and we do have this threat of severe weather, and things are looking really great right now across some of our area. I shouldn't say great, but things are looking better than they could have been. We'll put it that way. Things are looking much better than they could have been. We certainly have enough instability in the atmosphere. We have this cold front pushing through. That's creating enough spin that tornadoes will be possible, and they still are. Just because we haven't had any severe weather or tornadoes yet does not mean that we will not over the next hour or two. But the good news is as we get closer and closer to 5 o'clock, and as this moves to the south and east, that threat will be diminishing. So things are going to continue to improve. Again, we're already in the clear, basically north and west of I-85. But as this pushes to the south and east, we'll be watching those areas south and east of I-85 for any possible severe storms, including the possibility of any tornadoes. Want to zoom on into Metro Atlanta because we did have some very heavy rain. We could hear it on our roof here. We are in Midtown, really close to Atlantic Station, the IKEA right across the street from Georgia Tech. So it gives you an idea of where we are located. This was the thunderstorm with very heavy rain that moved through the area, but we're actually dry right now on I-75. Georgia 400 from Lenox Mall all the way to the top end of the perimeter, Northside Hospital North. You are dry right now. Even I-85 looking really good through the Chamblee area. It was very heavy right there, the rain, but that area is now starting to dry out. Where we do have some heavy rain is moving through eastern DeKalb County, especially Decatur points eastward, moving through the Stone Mountain area, Lithonia. You are going to see very heavy blinding rain in the next 5 minutes or so. So if you are in Lithonia, let the dog out quickly because you only have a minute or two before the very heavy rain moves in over your area. Let's take you southwest and see how the storms are shaping up now south and west of Atlanta. Taking you into Troup County, we have some very heavy blinding rain that just moved over I-85, moving into Meriwether County, some very heavy rain there. Western portions of Spalding County, we've got heavy downpours over that area as well as this continues to push the south and east. Taking you into Cobb County, moving through some heavy rain, the Covington area along I-20, Monroe through Athens. Really, it's Clark-Oconee County where we're seeing most of the action, or at least most of the electricity, most of the lightning, the heavy rain, some gusty winds perhaps. But overall, things are behaving as of now. Taking you through northeastern Georgia, again, some very heavy rain. That's where we have a majority of our storms right now through Clark-Oconee County, at least the heaviest rain and most of the lightning right now. Right now, no severe thunderstorms over our area, but again, that could change at any moment. We've got 3 members of our First Alert weather team in the building right now. We will break in immediately on Atlanta News First. We're also constantly sending updates on our Atlanta News First Alert weather app. So that's going to be the best way to receive those warnings directly to your cell phone. Here is the QR code. Scan this with your phone. Again, you can see the radar, the future radar. It lets you know if a warning is issued for your area, but it even tells you if heavy rain or lightning is approaching. So a great tool to have not only this afternoon, but really as we head through the summer. You know, in the summer, storms, a big issue here in North Georgia. We will keep you updated right here on Atlanta News First, Atlanta News First Plus, and of course on our First Alert weather app. Be safe. We'll have another update for you shortly.
Stay up to date on your latest weather from the largest team of meteorologists in the Southeast. Download the First Alert weather app for hour-by-hour forecasts and join us every weekday at 11:30 a.m. on ANF+. You can also text weather to the number on your screen, and we'll send a link directly to your cell phone.